Shalom, shalom to the elected nation of Israel, giving all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Kakadash, the bonus apostle GMS. Lord, when this lesson may be edifying to the elect and straight to the point. And the title of this lesson is going to be somewhere around the topic of John 3:16, because our people are in love with it, and outside of our people, the whole world is in love with this verse. And what gave me the motivation to do this lesson, the inspiration, is thinking about the fact that why do our people like this verse so much? Why is it the number one silent verse in the world? And it's because of jealousy. And our people have been taught, that they were never, or that they're just blacks, they're just Spics, they're just Native Americans, they're just Seminoles and things of these sorts, that they're not the true Jews, which I'm gonna try to stay away from saying certain things because the algorithms, because of the strikings. But they were taught that they weren't never the true people. So what's another? You're gonna find any precept, that you can find to slither your way into the cracks, and that's what these people of other nations do. They try to bring up other precepts and things of these sorts, and they try to bring up John 3:16. Like it's the nail in the coffin. Like, gotcha, bitch. He came for the whole world, not knowing that word world, has a particular meaning. Whether it be age or place, I'm going to read John 3:16. For the Most High so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever shall believe in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And these people don't know who the only begotten Son is, the true only begotten Son. They don't know his imagery, they don't know his name, they don't know his power, they don't know his what is that, the objective, what he stands for. So yeah, we're going to go through this lesson, pretty much debunk this myth, because the Lord is coming to save the elect, of the nation of Israel, But the nation of Israel shall be saved, of course, through the seed of the elect. They're going to be brought back, is what I'm trying to say. But everyone else is not going to have a new body. It's not going to live immortal like Israel will. You understand? And Esau, Edom, his house should be made, for stubble, as we know in Obadiah. Matthew 15:24, but he answered and said, and this is in red letter, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and what the Lord is known as the sacrificial lamb, So him being sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, we know that not only is he an Israelite, but for two, he's only for the tribe of Israel, the chosen. Romans 9:13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So that's playing upon the table. It's letting you know that the Lord loves and he dislikes as well. The Lord has that power. He has that right. The same way you may like something and you may not like another thing, or like someone and not like another. So Jacob, the Lord uses specific and what would I say? You could say sensitive words, unto them it's sensitive, but the Lord chooses some aggressive words. He says love and hate, those are two polar opposites, and those are very deep. If I should say, you could say, we'll leave it at that. Genesis chapter 35 verse 10, and the Most High said unto him, thy name is Jacob, thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name, and his name shall be called, his name is, and he called his name Israel. That in the Lashon Kodash, being the holy tongue, means Yasharallah. Yasharallah means he, prince of the power. Because you have three groups of men in the Bible. You have the sons of God, which is Israel, the nation of Israel. You got sons of men, which is 16 nations. And then you have the son of the wicked, that being Esau, Edom. And that's why his house is going to be made for stubble. Because he is the house of the wicked, and all his character traits, he was meant to be wicked, He does his lot perfectly. He does his job perfectly. The Lord asked him to be wicked, and he's like, you ain't got to tell me twice, So I'm trying to fix my phone here. Bear with me. Baba Gashah. There we go. The book of John, chapter 4, verse 22, and it reads, ye worship, ye know not what ye, Salaka, ye worship, ye know not what we know, what we worship, for the salvation is for the Jews, and what that word Jew, going to Judah, right? The head tribe. So salvation is for the Jews, not for the rest, not for the whole world, but for the Jews, it says. We're going to go to Matthew. We're going to go precept upon precept, because that's how you understand this book. That's how you really get into this thing. Matthew 1 and 21. And it reads, and she shall bring forth a son, thou shalt call his name Yahushai, for he shall save his people from their sins. His people. He's not. He doesn't have a law or a job or an objective, to save the whole world. Then, if that was the case, where would the peculiarity, if that's a word, or the specialness, or the holiness and saving, everyone will be getting the same thing, there'll really be no specialness. The Lord is the greatest artist, he has the best stories. He's not just going to be saving everybody. He's not even saving all of his people. 2/3 are going to die. But they'll come back. So that's mercy and grace of the Most High, showing you his justness and who he loves, really. Because he could have just been like, you know what? They're not coming back. Or they don't get no second chance, or no chance at everlasting life, or whatever. Hebrews 7 and 14, for it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. So the Lord came out of the tribe of Judah, man. He's part of the head tribe. And he's going to be the head man, with King David right up under him. And the 12, the 144,000. Then you got the 1/3. I want to get Revelation 1 and 14 to show you what the Lord looks like. Because a lot of people just think, that's why everyone thinks he's coming to save the whole world, because, they don't know who this really is, Shit. If the world, which they do, really the only people that are so solid is really our nation. These people know what's really coming. A lot of them, but of course a lot of them don't. A lot of them aren't elites. But if the world knew on a large scale a black man was the Lord, majority of so-called white people would be afraid or have that guilt. They already have a guilty conscience, so they know, like, damn, like they have to swallow a lot of shit when he comes back, because they have been doing his people wrong, people that look like him wrong, and no, we're not all same, just because you're dark skinned, you could be a Terror, you could be from the tribe of Canaan, being so-called Africans, named after Scipio Africanus. Revelation 1 and 14, his head and his hair were like wool. So what you see here is like wool. This hair right here, to prove you it's like wool. Let me see if I can grab my pick. Only sheep like hair, wool like hair, will do this and have this certain kind of texture. That's not too hard of an understanding. As white as snow. So in other words, he was aged, his woolly hair, and his eyes were a flame of fire, because one, he's a wine bibber, two, he's mad, he's ready to come back, His feet like unto fine brass, as if they're burned in a furnace, and his voice is the sound of many waters, and that's why, a lot of men in our society, well, for one, his feet onto like fine brass. Fine brass would be something like a penny, but more darker, pretty much our skin color. So if his feet is onto fine brass, his whole body would have to be onto fine brass. You can't be simple to think, oh, his feet is fine brass, but the rest of his body is olive or so-called white. These people are crazy. And if he's olive skin, there is a dark olive. He's not green like an alien, like these simple people like to put it. As if they burn in the furnace, and his voice is the sound of many waters. That's why a lot of so-called black men, a lot of Jake men, when they get into a profession, they kind of try to switch up their tone of voice because they don't want to offend no one, you know, because Jake naturally just has that deep, you know, scary, loud voice, you know. They always saying, you know, them niggas loud over there. Can you guys tone it down, please? Revelation 21 verse 12, and had a wall, and high he had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, which name was written thereon, which had the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, you know. So that goes to show you that if these high gates have the name of the children of Israel, that these are going to be the people on rulership. These are going to be the Lord's chosen people. You know, I won't read every verse verbatim because it is long, but I'll read every tribe. Matter of fact, that's not even in this chapter, so that just goes to, is it in this chapter? God, it's not even in this chapter, but that goes to show you pretty much that who's gonna rule, you know. The 12 gates, the 12 tribes of Israel, 12,000 out of each 12 tribes, which signifies 144,000, which are gonna be under the 12, and they're all gonna rule in righteousness, you know. The kingdom is not gonna be just like a macking party, you know, like the elder out of South Carolina say. You don't just do it all you want. It's gonna be in righteousness. Of course, you're gonna have your woman, you're gonna have your land, you're gonna have your freedom, but it ain't gonna be just lollygagging and fucking around. It's gonna be a lot better than this shit, though. Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people, being peculiar. That means what it means. Unto the Lord thy power, Yahweh Shem Shah, the Lord thy power, the Lord thy Most High, thy power, hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So that's major. You have to understand all the people are above on the face of the earth are categorized in different nations. So there's 18. So for you to be 1 out of 18, you know, that's very high. And really, you're one of one. You know, the Lord doesn't share our portion with other nations, you know, although we might have the same like coming from Abraham, having the same like lineage, you know, being Shemitic, that don't mean nothing. We're still the top, so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, mainly the elect of those nations. Bear with me as I'm getting a precept. I'll go to Apocrypha for this one. Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 56. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing but be like unto spittle, and hast little likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So no one cares if you got a bucket of water. Or let's use another analogy, you know, because people like to be so simple. People like to be so carnal, matter of fact, I'll say that, you know, because people love money. So I'm going to try to not add on to the word, but give an analogy more into money so it could be more understood. So if you have $1 billion, if you have $100 billion, right, would you care if you lost $1 or even $10 or even $100, you know? So it's the same, like, having a full bucket of water and having a little bit spill out of it, a drop. That's how the Lord feels about the other nations, man. So these other nations are literally for us to use, you know. They're pretty much our rug, our carpet. We're going to put them in chains, and we're going to slave them, and we're going to get labor out of them, and they're going to build our kingdom, you know. 32 of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So in other words, we're going to inherit, you know, what the Lord has, you know. It's like a rich grandfather leaving a whole bunch of things for his kids, right? And taking care of them, you know. That's how a lot of these Edomites live, because their forefathers and all those, their grandparents and all those things, you know, passed down things, you know. So we're going to have the greatest things. We're going to have the greatest fruits, you know. You know, who's going to have more than Yahweh Shai? You know, you got to think about it. The only begotten son, you got to be out of your mind. You're going to have so much, you're going to be giving it away to the nation of Israel. Now, if you got that mercy in your heart, you know, you one of those kind of slave masters, you know, you want to gift your Edomite slave something, that's on you. Lord. Lord gonna bless us, man. It is our Father's pleasure to give us the kingdom, you know. It's also his pleasure to bless us, roughly paraphrasing. And we're going to end it off with this one. Psalms 147, verse 19. He sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes unto his, and his judgments unto Israel. So in other words, the laws were given to us, you know. So in other words, the judgments were given to us. That's why it says in Deuteronomy, if thou shalt not hearken. I'm going to get that real quick. I'm going to get 2 verses really quick. 28 verse 15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power to observe all these commandments and the statutes, will I command thee to this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. You know, so the Lord only told this to us, you know. So in other words, if you give a group of people a set of rules, those set of rules apply to them and them only, you know. So in other words, that's who you're dealing with, you know. You ain't gonna give rules to somebody you're not dealing with. Book of Deuteronomy, I believe 7:1. Bear with me, I'm wrapping it up. Damn. I can't find what I'm looking for. Salakia. It's a preacher that pretty much just says, you know, the Lord gave these commandments to the house of Israel, and give unto Moses to give unto us. 6. Come on, we'll go back to the Psalms 147, Salakia. He hath not dealt with any nation, and as for his judgment, they have not known them. Praise ye for the Lord, you know. So what we going through right now, you know, motherfuckers ain't really been through these curses, you know, how we getting them, you know. We really going through it, you know, because the Lord is dealing with us. The Lord chastens who he loveth, you know. So it's like a teacher or a coach, you know. They're on the ass of the individual that they see who has a lot of potential, you know, to be great and who is great, you know. You can see who has the characteristics and quality traits of destined, you know, that being destined for greatness per se. You know, so the Lord knows we're great. He knows we're his seeds. We're Yasha Allah. You know, we're princes of the power, and our sisters being daughters of Zion. You know, so he gonna mess us up if we're not doing what he's asking of us, because he gives us whatever we need, whatever we want, and some. You know, Lord wants us edifying, and then the point was brought home that salvation is only for the Jews, and we are the Jews. So therefore, we don't need to be. Our people don't need to be so bent up out of shape over John 3:16. You don't got to bring that out. You bring that out as a defense to pretty much show off your Stockholm syndrome. You know, you feel bad for the white man going into you feel bad for everyone not having salvation, but you just need to be worried about yourself. You know, shit. The Lord dealing with you, perfect. The Lord dealing with my nation, perfect. You know, shit. I'm just, you know, a lot of brothers be trying to figure out their tribe. Shit, I'm just glad I'm a Jake, you know. If I'm not what I think I am, you know, I'll tell you, at least I'm a Jake. I found that in the kingdom. I don't care what tribe I'm from, you know. I just want to be a Jake, and then more so, I want to be a part of the elect, you know. So, Jake be too bent up out of shape. The white man don't care about. He cares because he's not a part of salvation. He don't have the same benefits that you have with the Heavenly Father. But the white man don't care if he get a scholarship and you don't. If he get a loan and you don't, shit, he hope you don't. But Lord wants to edify. Shalom.